Welcome to this filthy desk, and this is a box. But not just any box. I'm going to show you how I turned this box into this. So this project actually started about a year ago. I had just made a head crab sculpture for my friend Michael, and my other friend Brandon was interested in buying something. We settled on the Keeper from The Evil Within, and my original goal was to create a full-body sculpture. That failed twice. So this time I said screw it, and took a completely different approach. The Keeper sort of teleports around by snapping his neck and inhabiting the nearest safe to you. This sort of cursed teleportation is the subject here, with some tentacles coming out of a vault to represent its possession. With that planned out, I got started on the vault head, first by taking the smallest side of the box and roughly tracing the profile. I cut off this piece and stacked it on the other side so that I could cut them into the same shape. Also, you probably noticed I forgot to cut my nails for this video, which means my problem isn't now your problem. I left the folded piece here so I could figure out the size of the front side, using my masterful technique of that looks about right. I've been told the best way to fold cardboard is to score it. I've never done this before, so imagine my surprise when this actually worked and people weren't lying to me.
You really think someone would do that?
Now it's time to glue the two sides together. You'll notice I'm saturating the cardboard here. I still don't know if this was a good idea, but I figured since Mod Podge is pretty thick, this would help it create a stronger bond. Here I'm cutting the back piece, giving it some folds to glue to the inside. It's pretty flimsy right now, but it doesn't stay that way. Here I'm just making a simple top piece, folding it and gluing it in place. Once that's dried, I now have to deal with one of the hardest parts of the project, the frame, or the border I guess you could call it. The process itself was actually pretty simple. I just made it hard on myself because despite having engineering experience, I don't actually like measuring things. And here's where we are now. For the combination locks, I was kinda stuck for a while, but a bottle cap from everyone's favorite super center came to the rescue. And this little guy. But first, I have to sand them down to help future coats of paint stick. Same deal for Mini-Me over here. With those prepped, I am once again saturating the cardboard to glue them in place. I'm sure some people are wondering, so let me clarify. I'm using Mod Podge as a glue for this project because the bond it creates is often so strong that it has a plastic-like finish. Which is why it is advertised as both a glue and a finish. So no, I am not using it wrong, leave me alone. And now I'm going to fill in the gaps using the NASA-approved technique of glue and toilet paper. This part alone took like 4 days to complete, and my entire room smelled like mayonnaise. And this mess is what we've got. Now here I was actually going to attach some bolts, but the air dry clay I use started to grow moldy. I didn't really feel like giving my friend lung cancer, so I just scrapped those and started making the barbed wire. I did this by twisting some small wires around a bigger wire, then wrapping that bigger wire around the form of the vault. I left it loose in the back so I could fasten it after painting. Speaking of paint, here I am prepping the surface by giving it a coat of glossy black primer. Before I finished the base coat, I wanted to add something special. Something invisible that would subconsciously increase the sense of existential dread tied to this object. Yeah, so that's a label from my antidepressants. My friend does not know I put this in here, so Brandon, if you're watching this and were wondering why you felt like crying every time you looked at this, well, now you know, that's me going the extra mile for you. With the base coat done, it was time to go for the metallics. I didn't want to go overboard with the silver, so I painted it in several light coats. Once the silver paint layer looked about right to me, I got started on the rust. I had to be kind of careful mixing the colors here because I also planned on adding blood later, so I didn't want it to be too red. My advice here is do not think about rust. Think about Mars, Martian soil, that's the color you want. Now, the type of rust I wanted to go for was something like this, red patches with this sort of emerald green around it. So I got the color as close as I could, and then I mixed in a bunch of water so I could apply it as a wash. This allowed it to sort of gently pool up around the red spots rather than overwhelming them. And this is the result. With the vault basically done, it was time for me to get started on the base, the tentacles coming out of the vault. My idea here was that it would be 2 pieces with impressions to hold the vault in place. And then I rolled up some wormy dealios and stuck those on there. And that was pretty much it for that. It's not a very complicated structure there. Once they were done baking in the oven, I gave them a coat of like a bubblegum pink. Here I am struggling to make a good blood-colored paint. It took me way too long, I used way too much paint, but I did get there in the end. So now I'm going to apply the paint to the base pieces, and I'm sort of smudging it on. I'm not giving it a good even coating. I wanted the fleshy pink to show through the bloody red, and all that's really left for me to do is add some of that blood to the vault itself. I just kinda sloppily slapped it on a few select places. To finish this off, the last thing I have to do is give these base pieces a coat of gloss. Now this stuff goes on white, but it dries clear and it makes everything look really sticky and gross. And once that's done, the sculpture is finished. With the sculpture finished, it was time for me to ship it to Brandon. I actually glued 2 boxes on top of each other for this. The sculpture on its own wouldn't fit, and there were other things I wanted to stuff in there too. Once I got that all packed, I shipped it with USPS, because there's nobody I trust more than the United States government.
Alrighty, there he is. Oh fuck. No, not yet.
Alright, so how do you want me to start? Because I already read the note. I like the note. The little ball. Ah, it's the whale.
Yeah, that's Michael's whale.
How long have you had this?
I forget when he gave it to me. Yeah, there's a lot of just random paper in there.
Yeah. Alright, here's the first part of the base. And it's labeled. Thank you.
Yeah.
The painting on it is really good. You did a good job of making it look meaty.
Yeah, right. That was my goal. I wanted it to look sticky and gross.
Yeah. Is this a slice of cheese?
It is a craft single.
You put a craft single in the box?
Yeah.
And magical pizza gummies.
I've tried those. They're fine. They're not good enough for me to eat 2 bags, though, so you get one.
Oh, thank you. Here's the main part. This looks sick.
It looks like it's intact.
Yeah. I don't see any broken pieces. Yeah, this thing turned out great.
Yeah, I'm pretty proud of it. I would have kept it myself, but I don't have the fucking space anyway.
Yeah.
But that reminds me, where are you gonna put it? Did you find space for it?
No, because I honestly thought it was going to be smaller. I might put it next to the Xbox over here.
Yeah, just put it on top of the Xbox, block the air vents.
Yeah.
Alrighty, well, I'm glad you like the thing.
Yeah, this thing really turned out great. My camera.
It's already haunted.
There we go.
And like I said, don't feed it after midnight.
What the heck? My camera just keeps turning back on.
I didn't mean to actually curse you. Shit.
Hello, thank you very much for watching this video to the end. If you liked this video, you should share it with your grandma and tell her that I am your friend, so that she can say, "Oh goodness, you have such wonderful, creative, and funny friends." And then you will be very happy. Okay, that's it from me. See ya.